All right, hello once again, everyone. This is Jeff Scott, formerly of Rankin Technical College. And as part of my YouTube channel, JPS-Jeff Teaches Programming, and my YouTube playlist, Jeff Teaches Programming-Python, I've been writing some object-oriented programs where I've gone back and I've taken programs I've written in a non-object-oriented way, and I'm redoing them as object-oriented programs. So far I've gone back and I've taken this employee payroll program, or employee program, whatever you want to call it, and I wrote it first using non-object oriented Python I wrote one example that used lists, one example that used dictionaries, one example that used tuples, and one example that used sets. Now I've been rewriting it using object-oriented terminology, and in the previous couple of videos I redid it, the one with Python lists, in an object-oriented way, and in the last video I showed how to rewrite it with dictionaries in an object-oriented way. So I'm going to go over this quickly, and then I'm going to run over an example of it. So again, each employee has a number, a first name, a last name, an hours worked, an hourly rate, and each one has, if they have no overtime coming, all right, that they get paid hours worked times hourly rate, and if they do have overtime coming, all right, they get time and a half for all hours more than 40. In addition, I put in stuff in here for all the stuff that you see right here. So clear, copy, from keys, get, items, pop item, set default, update, and values. Now, probably I should do a little better job of explaining these, but again, if you do go back and you take a look at the different methods, set methods, in fact, what I should do, what I will do right now, and I'll be responsible, hopefully, for remembering to go back and do this for all previous programs. I'm going to go here to w3schools.com/Python, and I'm going to come in here and I'm going to use Python lists. In fact, we'll use dictionaries. That's the one we're on right now. And I'm going to go down to the dictionary methods, which is right here. All right. So I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to add a link in here. And I will put links like that into the non-object-oriented one as well. All right, so it's my responsibility to remember to do that. Okay, so in main, we imported an employee manager, which is the other file that we have in here. Then in main, the first thing we did was to instantiate an employee manager object that we call MGR. And here, then next, we set up a menu. All right, I'm not going to read these. These, other than number 13, these correspond with what is in here. All right. So there they are, and 13 is just a normal exit. Then you're asked to enter a number 1 through 13. If you enter a 1, we call the add employee method. All these methods that you see here, they're all in the employee manager that we'll go over momentarily. Okay, so if it's a 1, we call the add employee method. If it's a 2, we call the clear employees method. A 3, we call the copy employees method. A 4, we call the from keys employees method. 5, get employee method. 6, remove employee method. 7, remove last employee method. 8, update employee method. 9, list employees method. 10, list employee keys method. 11, list employee values method. 12, set default employee. And finally, 13, which I don't know how we got this. If choice equal this, that should be 13. Oops. 13. And I'm looking here, and it says was not closed. Well, let's try it again. Oh, we didn't have the colon at the end, probably. There we go. Okay. All right. Otherwise, if we put in something that's not a 1 through 13, hopefully it's going to come up with this. All right. Now, somehow this got all screwed up in here. That's on me. So let's fix this. All righty. Okay, so if it's a 13, before we exit, because I took that out, we will print normal program termination. Okay, and this just says if it's main, call main. That's all we're doing. So we'll save all that. All right, hopefully that's a fairly decent explanation. All right, it's not fantastic, but hopefully it's okay. Let me grab this while I've got it here. And I'm going to go into here. We'll go in here to non-oop. Oh, that's oop. This is the non-oop here. And this was dictionaries. Let's go into this file here. And again, we will add that. Okay, so that is in there for the dictionary methods. And again, I'll have to remember to do that with all the other ones. Okay, so let's take a quick look at the employee manager then. Okay, so I know I saved it, but again, I'm going to do a file save. And I'm going to go over to the employee manager. Here it is. Not short. 180 lines, basically. I put in some program constants. These have been the ones I've been using for all the examples of employees. I'm going to go and write an employee, a different kind of employee thing from scratch a little bit later, when I get done with the rewriting this using tuples and rewriting this using sets, but I'm going to keep using these constants. The minimum hours somebody can work, the maximum hours somebody can work per week, the minimum hourly rate, the maximum hourly rate, arbitrary values I came up with, the most hours you can work without getting any overtime, and the overtime rate. So we come in here into our employee manager, and in the initialization, or kind of like constructor, as it says, we create an empty employees dictionary. All right, then here is the method to add an employee. So we want to add a new employee to end of dictionary. That's what we're doing here. So we ask to enter a unique employee number. We check. If it's already in there, we say, hey, there's an error. The number must be unique, and we return the first name and the last name, and we run the strip method on each, basically. And if there is not anything in there, if we left it blank, first name cannot be empty. If we left the last name cannot be empty. All that stuff should make sense by now to everyone watching this. Then I took and wrote two different try except value error blocks. One for the hours worked, one for the hourly rate. All right, so we ask you to input in hours worked between 0 and 84, and we convert it to a float. If it's not greater than or equal to 0 and less than or equal to 84, we print an error and we return. Any kind of other value error, we say error invalid input for hours worked. All right, then we do a similar type of thing here for hourly rate, which must be between 0 and 99, which we defined earlier as our min age rate and our max age rate. All right, next we come in and we calculate our payroll. Very similar to what I did before, but we used a couple niceties that are built into this language. This says the minimum. So if we worked less than or equal to 40 hours, we use this. Technically, if we work 40 or more hours, we use this. For the overtime, if we have overtime, we use this. If we have no overtime, we use 0. Then we add what we get from the straight time here to what we get with the overtime here, and that becomes our gross pay. All right, then as it says, we make our dictionary entry. We have now put in an employee number, which we've validated that it was not, that it was unique. First name was not empty, last name was not empty. Hours worked was between 0 and 84. Hourly rate was between 0 and 99.99. And we figured out the gross pay. Then we just say that that employee was added to the list. That is our add employee. All right. Then next, we have our clear. Well, I guess we put it here, and that's okay. So our clear employee list. All right, in fact, let's move that. So clear our employee list, which just calls the clear method, and it lets you know, I'm sorry, this is copied. What did I do here? Good gravy, Jeffrey. Looks like I combined two different things here. I had no idea I'd done that. All right, so let's come in here and we'll say print the employee list has been cleared. All right, then this will be def copy employees self. This will be to copy the employee list. All right. Again, we don't need this any longer. So that's what we're doing here. We just run the copy routine and then we basically print it out. Then here, all right. This is going to allow us to create a new dictionary if we want to do so. Then here, we get an employee, and we get that employee based on the employee number, if it exists. And if it doesn't exist, we're going to basically say that the employee was not found. All right. Then here, we're removing an employee based on the employee number, or we're saying, again, the employee was not found. All right, we're not printing out emp info here, and that's why this is in gray, but that's okay. All right, this will remove the last employee. Otherwise, if there aren't any, it'll say no employees found. This will update an employee. This is a long method because what we're going to do is give the user the opportunity to update any one of the fields except for the employee number. All right. So because that's our key basically. So we're entering the employee number to update. Then we're giving them the opportunity to put in a new first name if they wanted. As an example, let's say I put in Jeff Scott. So Jeff for the first name and Scott for the last name. And they said, no, I need your full first name. So I changed it from Jeff to Jeffrey, type of an idea. All right, then we're doing the same thing here, but with our hours worked and hourly rate fields. All right. So if we have any kind of value error, invalid or out of range for either one. Then if we get through with that, we've got our updated info. So if there was any first name update, we update that. Any last name. If the hours worked is not none, if the hourly rate is not none, we update all those. Now, as it says, if either we updated the hours worked or we updated the hourly rate or we updated both, we have to update the gross pay. So that's what we're doing in here. Finally, we want to update the entry, period. Okay. This will list all of our employee entries. So let me move that over. So list all employees. This will list all keys. This will list all values. All right, so it's the same thing, but here we're calling employee.keys. Here are employees.keys, and here it's employees.values. All right, this will allow us to set a default employee. Now, if that confuses you, all right, think about it. What if we hired somebody and we didn't know what their first name is, their last name is, how many hours they're going to work, what their rate will be or gross pay? So we could just set in kind of a dummy employee right there, and that's what we're doing. And that's everything. So let's save this. Let's go back to here. And let's run it. All right, so I'm going to put in a 1 here. Oops. And enter a unique employee number, 100. I'm going to make it me. I'm not coming in here and checking the range stuff. It's just would take way too long. So I'll say I work 40 hours and I make $25 an hour. Should have put a space in there and there, but it's no biggie. So one of my daughters. Another daughter. Finally, here will be my last daughter. All right, so first let's kind of take it. I'm not going to clear it because that would be kind of stupid to do. Let's see if we can make a copy. All right, and there they are. Okay, we're not assured of any order, but they're all in there. All right, so that one appears to work. Create dictionary from keys. So as it says, enter keys separated by commas. All right. So what if we came in here and said, I'm just going to put in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Enter values. And I'm going to put in here basketball. I'm making this up. Basketball. I don't know if I'm doing this right or not, but we'll see. Football. Baseball. Soccer ball. And what other kind of ball? Kickball. All right. And it's letting us know that we've got all that in there. Okay, so each one of these, because of the way I set it up, all right, and I guess I screwed that up, but that's okay. I could have done a 1 and then etc., but that's fine. So that worked. Let's get an employee. Well, how about 140? I think that was Chloe. And it is. All right. Let's remove an employee. So we'll remove Chloe. And we'll do an 11 right now. Oops. 9 right now to see if she's gone. Okay, Taylor, Kenzie. Those are in there. I don't know what happened to the rest of them, but that's okay. So that removed worked. Let's see if we can do an update. Employee number to update. Do I still have 100? Employee number not found. Okay, 120. Oops, let's try it again. 8. 120. Okay, so put in a new name. Let's put in new first for the new first name, new last for the new last name, hours worked, let's just put in 10, hourly rate 10. And now if we do a 9, first name is new first, last name is new last, hours worked is 10, hourly rate is 10, gross pay is 100. That's all working. Let's list the keys, so that's 10. So there's our keys, that's what's left. I don't know what happened to the other records, but that's all right. All right, and let's do the values. And there they are. All right, so everything, as far as I can tell, appears to be working. All right, so what I am going to do next, shortly, is I'm going to go back and rewrite this again, because right now we have this in here. We have 01 Python OOP list, 02 Python OOP dictionary, and I'm going to put in here 03 Python OOP tuple. And I believe that the only thing that's in here is main, and the only thing in main is the comment. Okay? All right. So I'll be back to work on that shortly. Thanks.